It was the start of the year 2000, and I was 9 years old, and I'd saved up a little bit of pocket money. I was pretty proud of myself, and I couldn't wait because Fossil Set Pokemon trading card game had just released. And I'd begged my mum to take me down to Target that night because I knew they were launching the set there. I knew the packs were going to be there. I had friends at school that had told me that was going to be happening, and I was so pumped to get myself the first pack of the new Fossil Set. Now, isn't it funny? Why do we remember, or why do I remember a story like that? So anyway, welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm not the world's best storyteller, but it sort of brings about a couple of points to this, and the main one being nostalgia, and that's what the whole video is about today. I guess the question is, why do I remember that quite vividly, almost like it happened yesterday, yet sometimes I can't remember what my boss at work told me to do half an hour ago and I'd already forgotten. Or I can't remember something I was told last week, or a memory or something or an activity I did last week and I've already completely forgotten. But why is it that I can remember that so vividly? And brings about two strong questions for me. One, what is nostalgia? And two, how can it help us in our Pokemon investing journey? Before I sort of explore those two questions, I just want to ask you guys, what's your favorite Pokemon card story memory? Like, what's that one that hits home? What's that memory that you're probably never going to forget? The one that you're probably going to be 70, 80 years old and you'll still remember it. Because I know I won't forget that memory of rocking into Target, getting that first Fossil Set booster pack in my hands, just thinking, yes, like base set had pumped me up and sort of got me into the game. And now this expansion set came out and I was just thinking like, wow, I cannot wait to get this open. So what is nostalgia? I guess, and there's probably lots of different definitions for it, but the way I think of it, it's this real connection or fondness to some sort of memory or activity or friends or something in the past that you really hold dearly. It brings back some really, really fond memories that always sort of gives you that nice feeling inside. So to me, that's sort of what nostalgia is. Now, I'm certainly no psychologist, and I'm not claiming to be, but I've been doing a lot of reading around this lately, particularly because of my job. Now, nostalgia doesn't really come into my job. If you haven't, I've mentioned this a few times on the channel, I'm in car sales, but psychology certainly comes into the job. And psychology of buying and selling is a really strong factor. I mean, why would we even collect shiny pieces of cardboard or sealed boxes which contain shiny pieces of cardboard, or hopefully some shiny pieces of cardboard, without something being behind it, without some sort of meaning or reasoning? There's a lot of sociological and there's a lot of psychological factors that come into the whole buying and selling and collecting and investing of trading cards. So with that sort of question, how can nostalgia help in our Pokemon investing journey? I've sort of come up with 4 key points. I guess I've sort of synthesized, that's a big word for me. I've sort of synthesized a whole lot of reading over the last probably month or so on nostalgia and the psychology behind nostalgia when it comes to investing, buying and selling in the trading card world. So I want to touch on 4 points with you, starting off with point number 1. Now, point number 1 is a pretty short and sharp point. I'm not going to elaborate in too much detail, but it relates strongly back to that story that I was just telling you. Nostalgia really gives you a trip down memory lane. And you can't really put a price on going on a trip down memory lane. And I've compared this to the car sales world a lot of times with the Pokemon trading card world, is that, those sort of memories that you had as a kid or a teenager of, in the car world, having that car on your poster on your wall, the car you always wanted to drive or sit in or cruise around in, and you finally get to do it, just gives you that real nice feeling. And the same thing happens in the Pokemon card world. Maybe it's the EX era when you were a teenager. Maybe it was base set or fossil set when you were 10 to 13 years old. Getting those packs just gives you such a trip down memory lane that you just can't really put a price on. Point number two, I guess you could say and this is where the psychology, I guess, really comes into it. It's a stress reliever. You know, if you're opening an old school pack and you're remembering all those sounds and smells and friendships that you had back then, and it relates really strongly back to that first point I was making about it being a trip down memory lane. It's a real sort of mental stress reliever. And I know a lot of people that have, found some sort of solace in collecting, where it just makes them, just gives them that feel-good feeling when you're opening a booster pack, or when you're watching a live stream of someone opening a booster pack and you've got a pack inside there that you can't wait for yours to come out to be opened. It just, it gives you this sense where you can forget about the rest of the world, block that out, and just focus on that hobby that's been a part of your life for such a long period of time. And the Pokemon trading card game certainly does that. And point number three, nostalgia can really, really sort of foster and bring about this, well, a few nice things really: mateship, friendship, community. Like, why do I watch people on YouTube? Why do I comment on their videos? Why do people watch me on YouTube? Why do people comment on my videos? Thanks heaps if you do, by the way. Why do we follow Facebook groups and chat to people on eBay about buying and selling? Why do we follow Reddit groups and, on Pokemon investing? It's because, nostalgia can foster like lots of commonalities, common thoughts and ideas and feelings. Like, that's why we're mates with people, because generally we have, some sort of thing or a lot of things in common, I should say. We share common ideas and beliefs and thoughts and opinions and common interests. And, that's what nostalgia can also bring into the Pokemon world. You can share stories and thoughts and beliefs, and in that you create this real nice sort of sense of community. And you can't put it, albeit quite often with us it's online, but you can't really put a price on that sort of sense of mateship and friendship and belonging to some sort of community. And I keep using the term, you can't put a price on that. And I want to loop back to that right at the end of the video. So stay tuned after point number 4, but you'll see why I keep saying you can't really put a price on that. Anyway, moving on, next point. So point number 4, the final point. I really think this is a strong one, because what nostalgia can also foster is it can foster this sort of community, and I know that relates to point number 3, but it can foster this community of creativity. So point 4 is sort of nostalgia fosters creativity. And, that's one of the main reasons I even got into creating these YouTube videos. It was this reconnection after, like, I've always been in and around the hobby. If you've watched some of other videos, I've always been buying and selling trading card games, different trading card games, particularly Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. But, I really got back into it probably 4 years ago a lot stronger, particularly on the sealed investment side. And I suppose it was that passion that I'd rediscovered, and quite a lot of it was to do with nostalgia. It was that passion for the nostalgia that I rediscovered that helped in this creative journey, I guess, of creating some YouTube videos. Now, I said in the last point that everything keeps coming back, or I keep saying you can't put a price on that. And that's true. You also can't put a price on motivation. Point number 4, like the motivation for people to create something. Creating's not easy. Motivation's not easy. Finding motivation isn't easy. We all know that. So, nostalgia helping to foster that sort of creativity or that motivation to create is a really, really strong point. So I keep coming back to this whole, you can't put a price on nostalgia, or you can't put a price on reconnecting with some strong feelings in the past. So I guess if you're ever worried that maybe there's too many Pokemon cards printed, that modern Pokemon cards aren't going to move anywhere, that there's too many PSA slabs now, or graded card slabs, and that's oversaturated the market and things aren't ever going to move anywhere. Sealed products have been printed more than they've ever been printed, and lots of people are hoarding them, storing them away in cupboards, and like me, storing them away in cupboards, and there's just going to be this oversupply and oversaturation and nothing's ever going to move anywhere. I don't think, my argument back to that point is, I don't think you can discredit nostalgia. Now, that isn't the key factor for why things go up over time. And that's essentially what we're looking at here, is nostalgia's relationship in Pokemon investing and why you can't put a price on nostalgia and how it helps move prices north for Pokemon cards. Now, investing, of course, is simple, and I've said it probably I wouldn't say 100 times, but at least a dozen times throughout this channel. It's obviously buying something with the aim that it's going to go up in value, you sell it and you make a profit. Like, that's an investment. That's what you want to happen from an investment. So, look, nostalgia isn't the only reason that Pokemon cards going up in value. I would be incredibly naive if I was saying that, and I'm not saying that at all. But I also don't think you can discredit its power in moving things north in price. And that's why I kept saying you can't put a price on it. You know, that feeling of taking you back in time to a better place when things were easier. You know, locking yourself away in a room after you've bought a booster box and just being by yourself, escaping the world and reality, and just opening it and having fun, seeing what hits you can pull, getting excited when you pull something good. Like I was saying, you can't put a price on those things. And if you're worried about it, modern that is, and it not moving anywhere, there's a strong argument also to say that, of course, there's always going to be a new wave of kids coming through that are eventually going to be at the age where they want to relive or tap into that nostalgic feeling. Like, there's kids now that are playing Scarlet and Violet. Like, this is their first step into Pokemon. They're playing the Nintendo Switch game and they're opening the cards. There's people even 2 years ago or 3 years ago that were getting into Sword and Shield, the Pokemon game, and opening things like Darkness Ablaze and the chase for that Charizard VMAX. Even if they were 11 back then when they were playing it, they're already 14. So in another maybe 4 or 5 years' time, when they want to relive, you know, that's the one set that they wanted to master but never got to. They always wanted to chase that Charizard VMAX. And poor example, because Charizard VMAX from Darkness Ablaze isn't a great chase card, but it's the point that matters, not the set. But, you know, they're going to want to chase that feeling of getting that chase card they never got their hands on, or just reopening it, you know, getting that, and we all know what it is, getting that vibe of, you know, tearing the plastic, the smell of the cards even, you know, those feelings that nostalgia always provokes. So my point is, there's always going to be a new set of kids coming through that want to relive that feeling. And, you know, Pokemon's more popular now than it's ever been. So I really don't think it's something anyone has to stress about. In fact, I almost think it's a good thing. You know, as long as demand is going to absorb that supply, then I don't think we should be worried at all. And I think we need to appreciate the fact, or the position, that nostalgia plays in helping our investments make money. Would love to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think? Or do you think nostalgia has any impact on Pokemon trading card game investing? Please let me know. Also, reminder to you, what is your favourite memory sort of growing up? One that's etched in your brain that you don't think you'll ever forget, for sort of whether it's opening a pack or getting a booster box or pulling a certain card. What's your memory from your favourite memory from Pokemon trading card game across the years? Would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. Ta.